3, 2, 1, go!
Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to the anime review. Today, I just want to talk to you guys. Actually, I do plan to have a review, obviously, from the title you're going to see a review, so don't worry. But anyways, you know, it's been a while since I talked to you guys, so I kind of want to do that real fast. Don't worry, I'm going to go into the review in like a minute. But anyways, you know, I do apologize. You know, I really love doing anime reviews. I love doing anime reviews. Back when I started the channel, I did a review every single freaking day. I think I gained subscribers and volume because I was doing a review every single day, so it was probably flooding YouTube. But I didn't do it for that reason. You know, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't do it for the views," but a lot of people say that, but they don't mean it. Me, I've never cared about views. To be honest with you, like, yeah, it's cool to see that, you know, 30 people or 100 people or 1,000 people have seen a review, but I don't really want that. I want more so to do reviews for a few people that check the video out and go, "Wow, you know, I want to check this anime," and then spread the word. Because don't get me wrong, a lot of newer anime reviewers, they focus on new stuff, which is understandable. Like, for example, I'm watching like 20 different shows this season. I'm watching Tokyo Revengers, I'm watching Megalobox, SSS Daizen Zanaman. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm terrible. It's the sequel to SSS Gridman. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. And, you know, every season kind of has that. You know, there's like 50 different shows out. But the biggest problem is that a lot of the newer viewers and the reactors all react to newer stuff. You know, like, for example, I give credit to like people like Memory and K for the sheer fact that he'll occasionally do an older series and react to it versus just doing all mainline or new stuff. And I love that. You know, I love when reviewers go back and reactors go back to the old classics. Speaking of classics, today we're looking at a classic right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Tsukihime Lunar Legend. Now, if you guys are big Type Moon fans, which means you guys know about Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, Melty Blood, etc., you guys probably know what Tsukihime is. I guarantee not a lot of you know what Tsukihime is, though, because at the same time, you know, I've had this for years. It's very hard to find now. Like, I think most websites don't even have the DVD like I have right now. It's not impossible to find. I know this is probably on eBay. You'll probably find somewhere, you know, you could find some somewhere. But it's not that easy regardless. But what's funny about it is I only now, like maybe last week, started watching it. And I just finished it yesterday night. And I gotta admit, I regret not finishing this earlier because I'm very torn on how my reaction would have been if I had seen this years ago versus now. Because let's talk about Tsukihime real fast. So first off, in case you guys have never heard of Tsukihime, which is understandable if you haven't, Tsukihime follows the story of Shiki Tono. Shiki Tono is a little bit different from most high school boys. He has the ability to see death lines, which are these kind of weird, jagged lines that if he hits a certain line, it can actually cause someone to actually feel pain endlessly, or it can kill them with relative ease. And he's been like that since a kid. So he wears special glasses that were given to him by a friend that enhances vision, so it goes back to normal. He doesn't see the death lines everywhere he goes, because as the show shows quickly, seeing that crap all day would probably drive me up a wall. Like, I don't blame Shiki for like wanting to go off and kill people. There are lines. It makes people look like monsters. Like, some people are jagged lines of people, and that shows that if they're dead or if they're some kind of creature or not human, it could show that. And case in point, while he's doing this, he actually ends up running into a non-human, a vampire called Arkwade, where he kills her just out of nowhere. He just straight up takes his knife out, which is like a family heirloom, and uses his death perception eyes and just slashes her up and kills her. And then is mystified to find the next day she's back to life, and she quickly realizes that he's not an ordinary young man, so she needs his help to solve this whole grander challenge that she's facing, where there's a bunch of vampires out on the loose and she needs to put an end to them. It's a very simplistic story, you know. It's like that then not so normal boy, even though he looks normal, helping out some vampire lady. Tsukihime is not going to win awards for the most brilliant storytelling. It's not a really advantageous story, but what works about it is that it's simple. It's not trying to be any of those big, you know, anime stories. From what I know from the visual novel, because I did read a lot of stuff on the wiki about it, because we'll get into the anime ending in a second, because I got some words for that. I really do. But it's based off, obviously, a visual novel series, a Jojishin, where it's got multiple endings. It has, I think, I want to say 6 endings. It has several endings with each having a true and a bad route and a good route. But so things change up. The anime goes with a kind of middle ground. I think it goes with what's considered the good ending of Arcwade's story, but I could be slightly wrong with that. But I believe because just how things pan out. Now, so by the way, so if you do want to see the series for yourself, I would suggest not looking up the wiki for Arcwade good ending, because they'll tell you exactly what happens, and don't blame me for that. Anyways, though, what's cool about Tsukihime? Let's talk about the positives first. Tsukihime has this old classic style. I think it came out back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and it looks it. It really looks it. I forgot what studio does it. It's I know it's published by Sentai. So it's one of the collections for them, but it's old. It's old. If you look up, ironically, Tsukihime now, you'll see that they're remaking it. It's coming out in August in Japan as a remake visual novel, which it looks gorgeous. Oh my god! When I say gorgeous, I mean, folks, gorgeous. It's beautiful. The animation, the CG, the character designs have all been ramped up. It looks more like the Type Moon we're used to from like the Fate Stay Night series, more modernized, because a lot of the characters look very old school, old 2000 type characters. I mean, like, you'd be amiss to say that some of these characters are really ugly now. Like, by definitions of anime standards that we've come to now, they're pretty ugly. It's very janky designs, and certain characters have this very blasé, bland look to them. But again, it's an older series. That's why, like, I said this earlier in my review, I feel like if I'd seen this when it first came out, I probably would love this. This probably would have been like top 30 shows, because I really do love this story. I love the maturity of it at times. It's a little confusing. Like, so the concept is vampires, right? But they talk about moon people. And when they started talking about moon people, I started going a little like, wait, what? They have people that die. They have demons, vampires, and non-vampires, and bloodlines that aren't bloodlines related. It's all over the place. Tsukihime's biggest flaw is it's a story filled to the brim with too many ideas and not enough time to unleash those ideas. Now, this is what I'm talking about with the visual novel. The visual novel probably does a way better job of talking about the various stories, the various concepts, the various ideals. The anime only has 12 episodes. It's a short series, and there's no sequel to it. What I know, Melty Blood, if you want to follow the story of Tsukihime a little better, you can go play the Melty Blood games or watch Let's Plays of them, the storyline, which is, it's a fighting game, so don't expect the brilliant storytelling of anything else, but it has the storytelling that goes a little bit further. It goes like years into some of the stories and a little bit further with some of the characters and stuff like that, but I don't know what ending it goes off of, so I can't really tell you, and I'm not going to go into that too much. But like I said, because Tsukihime has so many of these ideas, it has moon people, it has a long lineage of fighting, and it has all these weird character things that are explained fully. 12 episodes doesn't do it justice. It doesn't let it flesh out the story. It doesn't let it flesh out the concepts. A lot of the characters kind of just get lost in this like proverbial, oh yeah, we're superpowered because of reasons. Why? Who knows? Why do the Death Eyes exist? What made people special that way? Why does one character have the ability to shoot fire out of her hands? I don't know. You won't know unless you look up the wikis, which then go into the visual novel spoilers, which I'm again trying to advise you not to do. But maybe after reading, after I did. After I watched all of it, I went to the wikis and started looking at the story a little more. Not just for the review, but for myself, because I like the story. Again, it's crazy. It's got a lot of ideas, but it's not bad. It's enjoyable. And that's why, when I said I want to talk about first about the story, what I enjoyed about it, I do enjoy the story. I do. It just has that twist to it where it's just a little too much story. It's a little too much there to really fully flesh out in 12 and beyond 12 episodes. Another thing I do like is the old school animation. I'm a sucker for the old school stuff. It's again, yeah, a lot of the characters look bland. Fighting scenes look pretty bad sometimes. How do I put this in words? Some of the fighting looks like it was done back in the 90s. That's what I mean by that. It's got that very old, where things look really epic, and you see a guy coming with a knife, and another person coming with a knife, and they clash. It's super slow. Like, nowadays, we're so used to, like, epic fights. Especially if you're a fan of the Fate Stay Night series. You have Fate Apocrypha, which is gorgeous. You have Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero. You know, all the Garden of Sinners, which is incredible. It's one of my, like, favorite Type Moon works. You have all these amazing animation and animated fights. And you have Tsukihime, which has these really, like, meh fights. Like, I mean, at one point, one of the girl's eyes, you know, widens and her eyes turn colors, and the person explodes, but nothing happens. Like, you barely see anything. And I'm like, why? Like, nowadays, you can visualize that being where you saw someone, like, being rendered on the screen. Their body would explode into pieces. Back then, you know, they were like, no, we can't show too much. It's not good. You know, hold back a little bit. Tsukihime it's a very classic show. Like, I'm not saying, I want to put this out there, I'm not saying not to watch it. It's a good old school anime. It's 12 episodes. It's not going to be a big waste of your time. It's fun. If you consider yourself a Type Moon fan like myself, you're definitely going to watch it just because of the fact that it's a Type Moon work. It's got a little bit of references here and there to other stories. I mean, for example, the character's name is Shiki. Shiki is a kind of trope, like, for example, the Guarded Sitters, and one of the characters there, the main character there is called Shiki. You know, there's a lot of things like that, little kind of nuances here and there that you can find in Type Moon's, you know, grandiose story that they have, because they do have a pretty big storyline, and their franchise is huge. But Tsukihime as a modern day anime is not that great. It's okay. You know, it's a fun show. It's about vampires, kind of. It's about moon people, kind of. It's about people that can cast magic, kind of. It's all it is. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got a little bit of drama. It's got a very cluttered story. But I had fun watching it. And I love that it does go mature in some ways. Like, the romance element does go pretty deep. There is a part where it's they don't show sex, but it does have that, you know, imagery that you know they're doing that. And I always dig that when they show that in old school anime, because it shows that the romance is not like such a childish thing, you know. A lot of newer anime, and I know many of you guys can agree with this, a lot of new anime, especially when they have romance, are afraid. They're like, oh my god, well, we can't show that. No, that's sexual related concept. I hate that. It's not because I understand that, you know, it's not geared for everyone, but if it's a mature romance or mature story, there should be nothing wrong with showing mature romance, mature storytelling. And a lot of new anime is kind of like, yeah, you know, we don't want to show that. We're trying to be this kind of dramatic romance and this high school romance, but they kind of make jokes about it, you know. I hate that. It irks the crap out of me. There's a lot of new series do that. But Tsukihime didn't do that. I appreciate that. I just wish they would have went further with the romance. It kind of just has this, like, quick ending that I really didn't care for too much. But here's where my review is going to be very, very hard for me to do. On one hand, I like Tsukihime. Is it a good show? Yeah, it's a good show. Is it dated? Hell yeah, it's dated. It's an old ass show. This is a show that definitely, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to watch. That's why if I had to review Tsukihime between A through F, as much as it paid me, I'm going to give it a C minus. It's enjoyable show. You know, if you are looking for a good retro show that you know, and you're a Type Moon fan, definitely go check it out. If you just want a good old school anime to watch and binge, it's good. It's only 12 episodes long. Just don't expect anything out of it in terms of like newer animation. Don't expect like, oh, epic fights or epic drama. No, don't expect that. You're not going to get that. You're going to get very minimalistic things. You're going to get minimalistic fights. You're going to get minimalistic animation. You know, the storytelling's decent. It's just not fleshed out. There's a lot of issues with Tsukihime, but it's fun. I enjoyed my 12 episodes. Anyways, have you guys ever seen Tsukihime? I would love to know in the comments below. Let me, you know, there are other Tsukihime anime out there. There's one also that's like about a little girl vampire. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, again, a whole different thing entirely. But I know that's also one. I've seen that. It's a good show. But, you know, if you've seen the Tsukihime I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below. If you guys want me to review anything specific, I would love to hear from you guys, because, you know, and I can't do reviews all the time, obviously, but I can always go and check out something if I haven't already seen it, because I probably, especially if it's older, I probably have already seen it. You know, if it's somewhat available in America, I've probably seen it. If it's not, it's a little harder for me to find it, but I still typically have seen older shows, even if they're hard to find here. By the way, I apologize. I ate food before doing this, and that's always a bad thing, because then you have like the little piece of food going in. Terrible. I'm gonna wrap my review up here. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great review, everyone. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys all in the next review. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.